Welcome and good Friday morning, Patriots, to O'Connor's Right Stand. This is where we rip through the liberal fog like a flamethrower, burning away the lies to deliver the raw, unfiltered truth. I'm your host, John O'Connor, and I'm so honored to have you here with me. I hope everyone had a great July 4th. The fiance and I drove down to Charlotte, North Carolina and took in some fireworks, a baseball game, and checked out the Reed's gold mine. Now, if you've never been to a gold mine, it is quite something. I believe it's the original, oldest gold mine in America, dating back to, I think they said 1802. We drove around Charlotte, Kannapolis, Concord, and then even down into South Carolina to check out Fort Mill. What else? Still working some crazy hours at my day job and still planning our wedding. Just locked the venue in and now working on a caterer and a photographer. This is both of our first wedding, and I cannot speak for my fiancée, but this is a one and done for me. I know one thing, I am never going to go through this a second time. If anyone has some interesting July 4th videos or photos they would love to share, send them to me. I'd be happy to share them on X. Just message me at O'Connor's Stand. But enough about me. This is episode 4, and I got to give you Patriots some massive shout out for sticking with me. Between work, a wedding, and this podcast, my fiancé is keeping me sane, and you Patriots are keeping me fired up. I'm not some slick DC insider. I'm just a regular guy fighting for the truth, just like you. So hit that subscribe button, follow me on X at O'Connor Stand, and I'll follow you back. Let's keep this movement rolling. So today, we're diving deep into the swampiest of swamp creatures, John Brennan, former CIA director and deep state ringleader. On July 8th, Fox News dropped a bombshell. The FBI's launched a criminal investigation into both Brennan and ex-FBI Chief James Comey for their roles in the 2016 Trump-Russia probe, specifically Crossfire Hurricane and the 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment. Justice Department sources are calling it a potential conspiracy, with false statements to Congress at the core. This isn't some dusty history lesson. It's a fresh probe, sparked by CIA Director John Radcliffe's referral to the FBI Director Kash Patel. Let's get Trump's take on this.
James Comey and John Brennan, now under criminal investigation related to the Trump-Russia probe. Do you want to see these two guys behind bars?
Well, I know nothing about it other than what I read today, but I will tell you, I think they're very dishonest people. I think they're crooked as hell. And maybe they have to pay a price for that. I believe they are truly bad people and dishonest people. So whatever happens, happens.
Well, I don't really think that Trump was mincing words there. So, we are peeling back the layers on Brennan. Who is this guy? What's he screwed up? Why is the FBI after him? And is he guilty as sin? So, grab your coffee, an energy drink, or if it's later, when you listen to this, maybe a nice oak bourbon, and let's expose Brennan's deep state games. Buckle up, Patriots, this is going to be interesting. So, let's set the stage. The deep state's been a thorn in America's side for years, and Brennan's the poster boy for unelected bureaucrats meddling in our democracy. From his CIA days to his MSNBC rants, this guy's been pulling strings like a puppet master. The FBI's probe is a reckoning, and we are here to break it down, with the precision of a Texas sharpshooter. We'll dig into his career, from Cold War spook to Obama's right-hand man, unpack his laundry list of failures, torture cover-ups, Benghazi lies, the Russia hoax, and dive into why the FBI's circling. Is he a patriot protecting America? Or a power-hungry operative who tried to rig an election? We're not here to guess. We're here to nail the truth to the wall. Let's get to it. All right, Patriots. Let's start at the ground floor. Who the heck is John Brennan? If you've been watching the political circus, his name's like a fire alarm for controversy. Born September 22, 1955 in North Bergen, New Jersey, Brennan's a career intelligence operative who's been haunting the halls of power for over 4 decades. Picture a guy who looks like he was born in a 3-piece suit, with a scowl that says, "I know secrets you'll never touch." He's not some Hollywood spy. He's a bureaucrat with a knack for climbing the ladder and dodging accountability. Let's unpack his rise, his connections, and how he became the deep state's golden boy. Brennan grew up in a working-class Irish Catholic family. But don't let that fool you into thinking he's a regular Joe. He was sharp, ambitious, and driven from the start. He graduated from Fordham University in 1977 with a degree in political science, then headed to the University of Texas at Austin for a master's in government, focusing on Middle East studies. In 1980, at 25, he joined the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, kicking off a career that made him one of the most powerful and controversial figures in U.S. intelligence. This wasn't a kid scraping by. Brennan was all in, diving into the shadowy world of spycraft with a hunger for influence. His early years in the CIA were spent as an analyst, focusing on the Middle East during the Cold War's twilight. He learned Arabic, studied the region's geopolitics, and got a front row seat to the CIA's covert ops. By the 1990s, he was stationed in Saudi Arabia, serving as a political officer and cozying up to foreign leaders. This wasn't just a desk work. Brennan was building a network, learning how to navigate power in Washington and beyond. A 1996 Washington Post profile described him as a rising star in the CIA, known for his intellect and ambition. But ambition's a double-edged sword, and Brennan's climb wasn't all merit. He was a master of smoozing the right people, from CIA brass to the White House insiders. By 2001, Brennan was Deputy Executive Director of the CIA, a top-tier role overseeing operations during the post-9/11 frenzy. He helped shape the war on terror, from drone strikes to intelligence sharing. In 2004, he became Director of the National Counterterrorism Center, coordinating anti-terror efforts across agencies. Sounds noble, right? But here's where the cracks kind of show. Brennan was neck deep in the CIA's enhanced interrogation program, waterboarding, stress positions, the ugly stuff. The 2014 Senate Intelligence Committee report called it brutal and ineffective, with the CIA, under Brennan's leadership, exaggerating results to justify it. He was no bystander. He was in the room, shaping policy and defending it to Congress. Then came his Obama years. In 2009, Barack Obama tapped Brennan as White House counterterrorism advisor, a role that put him at the heart of national security. He was Obama's go-to guy, briefing him daily on threats and pushing aggressive policies like drone strikes. A 2012 New York Times piece called Brennan the architect of Obama's drone program, which killed hundreds of terrorists but also civilians, sparking global outrage, which Brennan shrugged off, calling just collateral damage regrettable but necessary. Quote, and I quote, "This wasn't just a cold calculation. It was arrogance, and it set the tone for his tenure." In 2013, Obama made him CIA director, a post he held until 2017. Brennan was now running the show, overseeing covert ops, surveillance, and intelligence analysis. He was at the peak of his power, but also his most controversial. Take Benghazi, 2012. As counterterrorism advisor, Brennan helped craft the narrative that the attack, which killed 4 Americans, was spontaneous protest over a damn YouTube video, not a planned terror strike. Emails uncovered by Judicial Watch in 2014 showed he was briefed on the talking points, scrubbed of the terrorism references to protect Obama's re-election. A 2016 House Select Committee report confirmed the administration knew it was terrorism within hours, yet Brennan let the lie spread. That's not a mistake, that's political cover. His CIA tenure wasn't cleaner. In 2014, Brennan apologized to the Senate Intelligence Committee after the CIA was caught hacking Senate computers to monitor staffers investigating the torture program. Let me repeat that. The CIA was caught hacking Senate computers to monitor staffers that were investigating the torture program. He denied it initially, then fessed up when the evidence was undeniable. A 2014 New York Times report called it a breach of trust. This wasn't a one-off. It was Brennan's playbook. Lie, defect, and apologize only when cornered. And then came 2016, the election that would define his legacy. As CIA director, Brennan was a key player in Crossfire Hurricane, the FBI's probe into Trump's campaign. He pushed the Steele dossier, a Clinton-funded hit piece full of unverified gossip and garbage, into the 2017 ICA. Despite warnings it was just junk. A July 2025 CIA review and the Durham report from 2023 say he overruled analysts to smear Trump. This is why the FBI is after him now. But we'll get there. Brennan's rise wasn't just skill. It was connections. He was tight with Obama's inner circle, from Susan Rice to Valerie Jarrett, and his loyalty to the administration was ironclad. A 2013 Political profile called him Obama's fixer, the guy who take the heat for tough calls. But loyalty to power doesn't equal loyalty to America. Brennan's career is a masterclass in navigating the swamp, smoozing elites, dodging accountability, and always landing on his feet. He's not a patriot. He is a bureaucrat who plays dirty. Let's dive into his biggest flops next. To understand Brennan, we need to dig into his roots. Growing up in New Jersey, he was shaped by a Catholic upbringing and a father who worked as a blacksmith, instilling a sense of discipline. But Brennan's worldview leaned left early on. A 2018 NPR interview revealed he voted for the Communist Party candidate back in 1976, a fact he downplayed as youthful idealism. That's not just a quirky anecdote, it's a red flag. His time in Saudi Arabia in the 1990s gave him a deep understanding of the Middle East, but also a tendency to prioritize diplomacy over hardline policies. A 1998 Foreign Affairs article he wrote called for, quote-unquote, engagement with Iran, a stance that raised eyebrows among conservatives who saw it as soft on terrorism. His ideas carried into his CIA work. As NCTC director, Brennan pushed for intelligence sharing with allies. But critics, like a 2005 Heritage Foundation report, argued he was too cozy with foreign governments, risking U.S. secrets. His Obama-era drone program was aggressive, but a 2013 Amnesty International report criticized his civilian toll, accusing Brennan of downplaying collateral damage. His loyalty to Obama was unwavering, but it often looked like loyalty to power over principle. A 2015 Atlantic piece noted Brennan's quote-unquote unquestioning devotion to Obama, which clashed with his duty to impartiality. This wasn't a guy serving the public, he was serving an agenda. Brennan's rise wasn't solo. He was part of Obama's tight-knit crew. He bonded with Susan Rice over counterterrorism strategy, and Valerie Jarrett, Obama's top advisor, saw him as a reliable ally. A 2014 Political report detailed how Brennan, Rice, and Dennis McDonough formed a national security trio, shaping Obama's foreign policy. This wasn't just teamwork, it was a power block. Brennan's access to Obama gave him outsized influence, from drone strikes to surveillance policies. A 2013 Washington Post expose revealed he pushed for expanded NSA programs, despite public backlash over privacy. His role wasn't just as an advisor, he was a gatekeeper, controlling what reached the president's desk. This clique insulated Brennan from criticism. When Benghazi blew up, Rice took the TV hit, but Brennan was the architect behind the scenes. A 2016 House report cited emails showing he would coordinated with Rice to push the YouTube video narrative. His loyalty to Obama trumped truth, and it set the stage for his 2016 election antics. Brennan wasn't just a spook. He was a political operative, and his ties to Obama's inner circle gave him cover to play dirty. Patriots, if you think John Brennan's just a guy who made a few bad calls, you're in for a wake-up call. This man's track record is a 5-alarm fire of lies, cover-ups, and power grabs that make your blood boil. From the CIA's torture program to Benghazi to the Russia hoax, Brennan's been wrong more times than a weatherman is in a hurricane. We're diving deep into his greatest flops, because this guy's got a knack for screwing up and then pointing fingers elsewhere. Let's lay it out, no holds bar, and let's let you decide if he's a patriot or a problem. Let's start with the CIA's Enhanced Interrogation Program. In the early 2000s, post 9/11, Brennan was a deputy executive director when the CIA rolled out the enhanced interrogation techniques: waterboarding, sleep deprivation, stress positions. The 2014 Senate Intelligence Committee report didn't mince words. The program was brutal, ineffective, and a stain on America's reputation. It produced little actionable intel while fueling anti-American sentiment worldwide. Brennan, in a leadership role, wasn't just along for the ride. He helped shape the program and its defense. In a December 2014 press conference, he called the Senate report flawed and insisted the CIA's methods saved lives. The Senate report found the CIA misled Congress and the public about the program's results, exaggerating successes to justify torture. Brennan wasn't a bystander, he was in the room helping craft the narrative. A 2015 Washington Post article noted his defense alienated even moderate Democrats, who saw him as tone-deaf. This wasn't a one-off mistake, it was a pattern. He doubled down on a failed policy, prioritizing CIA pride over truth. Here's where the rubber meets the road. On July 8th, Fox News dropped a bombshell. The FBI has launched a criminal investigation into both John Brennan and James Comey for their roles in the 2016 Trump-Russia probe. Justice Departments call it a potential conspiracy, with false statements to Congress at the core. This isn't some rehash of old news, it's a fresh probe, sparked by John Radcliffe and Kash Patel, which is backed by declassified July 2025 CIA quote-unquote lessons learned review. Let's break it down. What did Brennan do? Why is it a problem? And could he face real consequences? Buckle up, this is where the deep state gets exposed. Crossfire Hurricane kicked off in July 2016 after the FBI got a tip about Trump campaign aide George Papadopoulos hearing about Russian dirt on Hillary Clinton. Brennan, as CIA director, was all over it. The July 2025 CIA review and Durham report says he pushed the Steele dossier, a Clinton-funded hit piece, into the 2017 ICA, despite warnings from CIA analysts. A 2016 email from the CIA's deputy director cited in the review warned that including the dossier would ruin the credibility of the ICA. Brennan overruled them, briefing Obama, Biden, Comey, Loretta Lynch, and James Clapper on July 28th in 2016 about the Clinton campaign's plan to quote-unquote vilify Trump with Russian interference claims, per declassified notes from 2020. This wasn't intelligence, it was politics. The dossier, compiled by ex-British spy Christopher Steele, alleged Trump was a Russian asset, with salacious claims that were never verified. A 2020 Senate Intelligence Committee report called it unverified and uncorroborated. And the 2019 Inspector General report found no evidence supporting its claims, yet Brennan pushed it hard, insisting it had to be included in the ICA, which concluded Russia sought to boost Trump's campaign. The July 2025 CIA review calls the ICA's process rushed and atypical, with procedural anomalies that broke intelligence standards. Brennan restricted access to key intel, sidelining analysts who questioned the dossier's inclusion. A Fox News report quotes a DOJ source saying Brennan, quote-unquote, showed a preference for a narrative consistency over analytical soundness. That's a fancy way of saying he wanted to stick it to Trump, facts be damned. Here's the heart of the FBI's probe. Brennan's testimony to Congress. In May 2023, he told the House Judiciary Committee he opposed including the dossier in the ICA. The July 2025 CIA review says that's a lie. He pushed for it despite internal objections. Newly declassified records per Fox News shows Brennan overruled career analysts who warned the dossier would be essentially internet gossip. This isn't just a fib, it's a potential perjury under 18 U.S.C. 1001. which criminalizes false statements to the federal officials. DOJ sources say Ratcliffe's referral to Patel includes recently surfaced documentation and communications contradicting Brennan's testimony. A Breitbart report notes that the FBI is looking at whether Brennan's actions were part of a broader conspiracy with Comey, who also pushed the dossier. The FBI is not just looking at Brennan's testimony. They're probing whether he and Comey coordinated to promote a false Trump-Russia narrative. Two DOJ sources told Fox News the Bureau views their actions as a conspiracy, which could open up charges like misuse of authority or election interference. The Durham report says Brennan and Comey used the dossier to justify FISA warrants against Trump aide Carter Page, spying on the campaign without solid evidence. A 2018 Comey testimony cited by the Daily Caller admitted the FBI didn't verify the dossier before using it for FISA applications. Brennan's July 2016 briefing to Obama, which included the Clinton campaign's plan to link Trump to Russia, suggests he knew the dossier was a political tool, yet he ran with it. This wasn't about national security, it was about sabotaging Trump. Brennan's not taking this lying down, though. On July 8th, he went on MSNBC's Deadline White House with Nicole Wallace, claiming he's clueless about the probe and calling it made up out of whole cloth. He said he hasn't been contacted by the FBI or DOJ and stood by the 2017 ICA, claiming it was validated by the Mueller and Durham investigations. Here's a clip of him playing the victim.
I testified in front of many, many congressional committees in the House and the Senate over the years, and I continue to explain exactly what we did during this process, why we tried to make sure we stayed true to our intelligence responsibilities and that we were not going to do anything at all to try to interfere in that election. And again, it was a challenging time, but also one I think that the people who actually worked this, both in terms of trying to collect intelligence prior to the election and then the ones who put together the intelligence community assessment, they really, I think, showed the best of what the intelligence community and what CIA is made of. So again, I am clueless about what it is exactly that they may be investigating me for.
His response is absolutely laughable. Brennan's not clueless, he's sweating. The Mueller report found no evidence of Trump-Russia collusion, and the Durham report slammed the FBI's handling of the dossier, contradicting Brennan's claims. The July 2025 CIA review says he ignored analysts to push a narrative, and his 2023 testimony doesn't match the evidence. A Gateway pundit report quotes Trump calling Brennan and Comey crooked as hell, reflecting the sentiment of conservatives who see this as a long overdue accountability. Brennan's defense is pure spin. He's trying to rewrite history, but the receipts are piling up. This probe isn't just about Brennan. It's about the deep state's abuse of power. The 2017 ICA, fueled by the dossier, set off a media firestorm that hobbled Trump's first term. The Durham report says it was a significant intelligence failure, and the CIA review calls it a breach of protocol. Brennan's actions helped launch the Mueller investigation, which found no collusion, but dragged on for 2 years, costing taxpayers $32 million, per the 2019 DOJ report. The FBI is now digging into whether Brennan's lies to Congress and coordination with Comey violated laws. Patel's no-nonsense approach and Ratcliffe's referral mean this isn't a fishing expedition. It's now a hunt. The timing's no accident. A July 9, 2025 New York Times report notes the probe comes amid backlash over the Trump administration's handling of the Epstein case, suggesting it's a distraction for MAGA supporters. But conservatives on X are cheering, with posts calling it justice at last for the Russia hoax. I'm keeping the X chatter light, but the sentiment's clear. People are fed up with unelected bureaucrats like Brennan. The probe's scope is unclear. DOJ sources won't say if it's just perjury or broader charges. But a Reuters report confirms it's active, and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called it a welcome move. Brennan's defenders, like MSNBC and CNN, say it's a Trump-driven witch hunt. But the evidence, declassified notes, CIA emails, Durham's findings, say otherwise. If the FBI nails Brennan, it's a blow to the deep state. Potential charges could include perjury, false statements, or conspiracy, carrying prison time. A Just the News report says Radcliffe's referral includes newly surfaced documents, and Patel's aggressive stance suggests the FBI is not playing. Brennan's not in cuffs yet, but the walls are closing in. This probe could expose how far the intelligence community went to target Trump, and it's a warning to other bureaucrats. The swamp's getting drained. Let's weigh whether Brennan's guilty next. To understand the probe, we need to dig into the Steele dossier's roots. Funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign through Fusion GPS, it was a collection of memos alleging Trump's ties to Russia, compiled by Christopher Steele. A 2019 Washington Post report revealed Steele's sources were unverified, some tied to Russian operatives who could have fed disinformation. Brennan knew this. His 2016 notes mentioned that the Clinton campaign's role, yet he pushed it in the ICA. A 2020 declassified FBI memo showed Steele's primary source, Igor Danchenko, probably butchered that a little bit, admitted much of the dossier was rumor and speculation. Brennan's insistence on using it wasn't ignorance, it was intent. The FBI's conspiracy angle hinges on Brennan's coordination with Comey. A 2018 Comey testimony cited by Fox News admitted the FBI used the dossier for FISA warrants without verifying it. Brennan's briefings to Comey per the Durham report fueled the Crossfire Hurricane probe. A 2020 Senate report says the two shared intel to keep the Trump-Russia narrative alive, despite knowing the dossier was at best shaky. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a plan, and the FBI is now asking if it was criminal. Now, Patriots, the million-dollar question is John Brennan guilty? The FBI's July 8th probe is zeroing in on 2016 election antics, specifically false statements to Congress and possible conspiracy in the Trump-Russia probe. Let's kind of channel Ted Cruz in the courtroom, lay out the prosecution and defense, and get to the truth. Spoiler, Brennan's not walking away clean. The prosecution case is rock solid. The July 2025 CIA review and Durham report nail Brennan for pushing the Steele dossier into the 2017 ICA, despite knowing it was unverified. His own notes, declassified by Radcliffe in 2020, show he briefed Obama on a Clinton campaign plan to smear Trump. A 2016 CIA email cited in the review warned the dossier would tank the ICA's credibility, but Brennan overruled the analyst. He didn't care, prioritizing politics over facts. In May 2023, he told the House Judiciary Committee he opposed the dossier's inclusion. A lie, per the CIA review. That's right there, potential perjury under 18 U.S.C. 1001. It gets worse. Brennan coordinated with Comey to use the dossier for FISA warrants against Carter Page, spying on the Trump's campaign without solid evidence. The Durham report calls this a significant intelligence failure, and the DOJ sources now labeled as a conspiracy. A 2020 Senate report confirms the dossier was unverified and uncorroborated, yet Brennan hyped it to Obama, Biden, and Congress. This wasn't a mistake. It was a deliberate attempt to sabotage Trump's campaign. His history, lying about CIA hacking in 2014, spinning Benghazi in 2012, show patterns of deception. The FBI's probe could lead to charges like false statements, misuse of authority, or even election interference. Now let's play defense. Brennan's allies, MSNBC, CNN, his 2020 memoir, Undaunted, claim he was just doing his job, protecting America from Russian meddling. The 2017 ICA's core claim that Putin favored Trump wasn't disputed by the CIA review, only its process. Brennan says he opposed including the dossier in the ICA, and it was only appended as a summary per his book. He argues the FBI, not him, drove the dossier's use in Crossfire Hurricane. A 2019 IG report found no criminal wrongdoing in the broader Russia probe, and Durham's 2020 interview with Brennan labeled him a quote-unquote witness, not a target. His defenders say this is a Trump-driven witch hunt, with Radcliffe and Patel settling old scores. A July 9th MSNBC report quotes Brennan saying the probe is politically motivated. But the verdict. So here's the truth, Patriots. The defense is flimsy. Brennan's own notes and the CIA review contradict his claim that he opposed the dossier. He pushed it, knowing it was junk to hurt Trump. His 2023 testimony smells like perjury, and his coordination with Comey reeks of conspiracy. The 2019 IG report didn't clear him. It just didn't find enough charges for then. Now, with the new evidence from Radcliffe's referral, the FBI's got a stronger case. Brennan's history of lies, Benghazi, CIA hacking, show he's no saint. He's guilty of abusing his power, and the only question is whether the FBI can make it stick. A Daily Signal report says Patel's not playing, and conservatives on X are calling it justice for the Russia hoax. Brennan's in deep. The probe's rippling across D.C., and says NBC report says it's fueling distrust in the intelligence community, with Democrats calling it a retribution campaign by Trump. But conservatives see it as accountability. A Newsmax report quotes a DOJ source saying the probe could reshape how intelligence is handled, forcing stricter oversight. Brennan's allies are circling the wagons, but the evidence declassified notes, CIA emails, is hard to spin. This isn't just about Brennan. It's about whether the deep state can be reined in. FBI Director Kash Patel and CIA Director John Radcliffe are driving this probe. Patel, a Trump loyalist, has called out government gangsters like Brennan per a July 9, 2025 MSNBC report. Radcliffe's declassification of CIA records, including Brennan's notes, set the stage. A Fox News report says their partnership is a direct challenge to the old guard, and conservatives are eating it up. This isn't just a probe, it's a power shift. Well, that's a wrap for episode 4 of O'Connor's Right Stand, Patriots. We've torn off the mask of John Brennan, career spook, deep state ringleader, and now FBI target. From his torture program cover-ups to Benghazi lies to pushing the Steele dossier to smear Trump, Brennan's a walking scandal. The FBI's July 8th probe into his false statements and possible conspiracy in the Trump-Russia hoax is long overdue. This guy's not a patriot. He's a power-hungry bureaucrat who tried to rig an election. We covered his rise from Jersey Kid to CIA kingpin, his flops, torture, Benghazi, Russia, and the FBI's case against him. The evidence is damning. Declassified notes, CIA emails, and a pattern of lies. Whether it's perjury or conspiracy, Brennan's in hot water and Patel's not playing. This probe's bigger than one man. It's a reckoning for the deep state. We're not just exposing Brennan, we're exposing a system that lets unelected elites run wild. Let me know what you think. Is Brennan guilty? Is he going to serve any time? I'd love to hear from you. And share this episode on X. Tag us at O'Connor Stand, and let's keep the heat on. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks. I'm a programmer, not a pundit, grinding through these 90-hour work weeks and wedding plans, but you Patriots keep me going. I've loved some of the comments I've gotten. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and follow me on X. I'll follow back. We're back next week with more truth bombs, so stay locked and loaded. Until then, keep fighting, keep the faith, and never let the left rewrite the narrative. This is John O'Connor, holding the line unapologetically, signing off.